Welcome to the journey of an aesthete, a comprehensive examination of all things aesthetic, the arts, the humanities, and what it means to be human. Welcome to Journey of an Aesthete podcast. Reza, welcome.
Thank you.
Your name is Reza Nasserbakht, right?
Yes, that's me, Reza Nasserbakht. Yes.
And you've been making shirts since you were very young.
Very young. Long time ago. Maybe 60 years ago.
60 years ago. And
Yes.
that was in Iran, right?
That's correct.
So the reason why I'm doing this episode is I'm doing a series on people that make clothing-related items.
I understand.
And so the idea is that we're going to have one shirt, single shirt, and, explain what it is that someone like yourself does what you learn to do.
Yeah, we got the fabric. Luke, my son, is a designer. He cut the pattern for individual. We have people here, we put them together.
Right.
And the customer comes, we try it on him, any adjustment, we do it, and most of the time we don't need any adjustment. We go ahead and finish the rest of the order.
Right.
And we do pretty good. We get it right.
I'm fascinated with your story, though, because you were in Tehran.
Yes.
And
I was born there.
you were born there, and so you were doing shirt making in that country.
Yes, my father was a shirt maker. My older brother was a shirt maker. And I learned
Right.
this skill. I learned. And when I came to this country, I thought it's not a bad idea to restart.
Absolutely.
Do the same thing.
Well, what's interesting to me is you came to Chicago, which is a city I love. When did you come? In 1978, right?
78, 77, 78, I don't even remember.
So it was around the time of the changes in Iran, right?
That's correct.
The revolution.
That's right.
So what were your impressions when you first came to the U.S. in the late 70s in terms of, well, first of all, you eventually got your own shop, right? So you started.
That's right.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
When I came, I was working for the other company, Shirtmakers. Then I learned how everything works in this country. As soon as I could, I opened my own business, little shop in Chicago, and everything went good from that moment. So I was very happy with it. And, yeah, I had that shop for a long time.
A long time, yeah.
Yes. And until I came to New York.
And you came to New York in the 2000s, right? 2010 or 9?
It was 10 years ago. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, 2009.
Yes.
That's interesting that some things are objective and stay the same, the measurements, and you said that never changes.
Never changed.
That never changes.
No.
But clients change and styles and fashion changes.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right.
Do you want to talk a little bit about some of that from the 80s and New York?
Fundamental measuring and making it, we do almost the same like we did years back. But as you say, the fabric is changing, clients are changing, the styles are changing.
Mm-hmm.
Most people wanted we used to make leather button downs, now they don't. So the style of the collar and cuffs and the front panel, everything changed.
Right.
We go by individual, the customer, how they want it. We explain,
Right.
And they choose
Right.
the way they want.
Right.
Yes. And the fabric also during these years that I know, getting much better. The variety of fabrics. It used to be just a broadcloth, and see, I don't know. But right now, there are books and books and books.
Let me ask you a little bit more about that, because you mentioned this the other day. You said that actually fabric has made progress in the contemporary.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the progress is the quality of the cloth.
Quality of the fabric, the thread counts. Yes, it's changed.
Is that a function of just time, or people putting in the designers and the technology, the mills?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, for example, this one shirt I'm having made is from a single mill, correct? Right.
Well, there are so many different. Some in Italy, some in
Right.
England. You know, mostly are in Italy. They make the fabrics.
Yeah.
Japanese fabrics are good too.
They are. So this cloth that I'm working with, what's the origin of it, or what is the
fabric?
Yes.
The fabric is originally from the Egyptian cotton. It's the best cotton.
Right.
You know, so they bring it to Europe, you know, and work with it, you know, make it softer, and they make the fabric.
The end result. Yeah.
The more you wash it, the thread, multiply it by washing, it gets tan. So,
yeah,
they make the fabric. It's interesting. You know, right now, the fabrics are much, much softer and thinner and more thread by a square inch, as a matter of fact. Yes.
So it used to be harder or rougher, kind of in the 70s?
Yeah, a little bit less thread by a square inch, but more right now, up to 240. Some fabrics.
Excellent. And then second, I'm going to have a second part now. We're going to take a break.
Okay.
Thank you. So you were in Chicago for how many years, would you say, in that shop?
I would say 25 years.
25 years, a long time.
Yeah.
And then you came to New York.
That's correct.
And that's when I met you, I think?
That's right.
By accident, right? I was just walking down the street and I saw...
That's correct.
So what do you think about the fact that I discovered you just looking in the window and just walking down the street rather than reading about it or...
Yes. We just started over there.
Right.
You were very... For almost first customer you walked in.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe first 10, I would say. And
so what do you think about it doing it that way rather than more, sort of in that kind of spontaneous? Is that interesting, right?
Yes. We started kind of at the shop in Soho, selling socks. Then people walked in, they asked a question. I was working. Then we didn't know how it was going to turn out, but they turned out to be good. Mm-hmm. We got people like you and 100 different, they walk in, they order, we made it, and we expanded from there.
Expanded, so you got more customers and you moved out of socks, right? You stopped doing socks.
That's right. Now we don't sell socks anymore. Strictly the custom shirts. And my son Luke is doing pretty good.
You're teaching your son, right?
Yeah.
Would you say it's the way you were taught?
Yes.
So it's passed. It's an art passed in the family.
That's correct. You have to pass on, what you know, and the new generation do a better job than the old generation.
Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah, with new ideas.
Yeah.
Time is changing. How they want it.
Yeah.
Now everybody wants a little bit closer to the skin.
Tight. That was very big in 2000.
Yeah. But in my time in Chicago, there wasn't that way. They want to loose, comfortable. Now everything changed.
Keeps changing.
Yeah.
What are some of the changes in this part of New York? Because you went uptown to Madison.
Oh, big difference.
Big difference. So talk about that.
Over there, we were making mostly casual shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Here, mostly dress shirts.
Mm-hmm.
And different clientele. Mostly lawyers and businessmen here.
Right.
It's a big difference. We deal with different people. We're very happy about the change.
So you like it better?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say? The big difference in the casual versus dress? I mean, that's a fashion difference, rather than a craft or. Yeah. Technically, it's the same, right?
It's the same, but the different fabric and the way they want it. Different cuff styles, collar style. Most people don't wear tie anymore.
Right, that's a big trend.
they want a different style that the color is going to sit without the tie.
Yeah.
So it's different. Everything changes.
I noticed the things you made for me, that every single thing I made, when I don't wear a tie, it still looks good without tie.
That's right.
It goes both ways.
It goes both ways, yeah, absolutely.
Is that the way you designed it? Because of
Yes. We make it somehow that, you can wear with tie or without a tie.
Because the collar stands up. It doesn't fall down.
Absolutely. We use very special interlining. We use it to put inside the collar and collar band and cuffs.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes lots of difference.
Right. What are your impressions of the ability to make something like you make with your hands that's passed down through different times and decades? How do you feel about that as part of life? It's important, right? It's sort of there's a I guess an integrity to it, or
passing on to different generations.
Right.
You feel good about yourself that you have something to offer.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. I'm happy about it.
What do you think the future holds for that kind of practice? Do you think it'll always continue? Or
I don't know.
You don't know.
This is kind of dying business. The new generation don't want to become tailor, shirtmaker. They want to become lawyer, doctors. If you compare today than 40 years ago, when I came here, there were a lot of shirtmakers. There were a few left.
So you're one of the last ones, right?
Not the last one.
One of.
I hope
you're
not.
one of.
One of. Yeah.
I mean, of course.
But most of the something overseas. If people come here, they see that we make it here. They're kind of surprised. They say, "Oh, that's interesting." It's different.
It is different. I'm just wondering. So you think it's smaller, but what I said to your son the other day is the possibility of transferring the ability, the skill, to different clothing styles. So in other words, so in that way it could continue. So what I'm saying is the people can decide that they want things that they own to be quality and to not.
Yeah.
Is that possible in the future?
It's possible.
Yeah.
Everything is possible, but must be some plan to do that.
To do it, yeah.
And it's costly too.
Mm. So it's an unknown, I guess, for you, right?
That's
you just do what you believe in and what you do.
Yeah. I can do what I know.
What you know.
Yes.
Reza, do you want to say anything about New York now, given everything that's going on or been going on,
Is it since a couple of years ago before pandemic, everything changed.
Everything changed.
Everything changed. 100%.
100%.
Yeah, big change. There were more people coming to New York. And right now, look at the streets are almost empty. But it's getting better every day. Every day, reopen the business. A lot of the businesses reopen. Everything is getting slowly back to normal, but it's going to take a time.
Yeah.
Maybe another year.
Another year, yeah. Well, I'm sort of optimistic about the continuation of what you do, because Luke is very young and he's learning it.
Absolutely.
So I think that there'll always be this will continue. Is what I'm saying. I feel very good about that.
I hope so. I hope a few people are going to continue with this. People always need shirts.
Yeah.
Custom. Somebody must make it for them. So there is a demand.
Yes.
So hopefully he's going to teach on other people.
Oh, wow.
Make it. Yes.
Well, he's become a father recently, right? So.
Yes. He's father of two beautiful girls.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying he passing to his girls, but so other people so he can teach.
Right. I guess that's the nature of time, right? That there's something in families or something that's passed on into the future.
That's correct.
And there's a kind of beauty in that when you say, I mean, kind of, if you think about it.
Yeah, you forget what you're surpassing on there, but you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Reza, I want to thank you for your generosity and time. I know you're very busy. You're making many things now as we speak, right?
Thank you.
A shirt jacket and a shirt, some kind of a, looks like you're working on a couple of customers there.
Right. Yeah.
What is a shirt jacket for those that don't know? That kind of,
they're wearing casually over their shoulder sleeve shirts or over their dress shirt.
I see.
You just don't want to wear a jacket. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitch.
That was beautiful.
Everybody needs an anchor in life. You, me, just everybody. Anchor made this whole show possible. I'm immensely grateful to them. You too can use Anchor to make your own shows and create your own vision. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. We're here with Luke Nasserbakht, the son of Reza.
Luke, master cutter.
Master cutter. And you were saying that there was a time it took you several years to learn to be a pattern maker, correct?
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's a process. You don't just jump into pattern making or cutting. You have to learn everything from scratch. No pun intended.
Okay.
I mean, I grew up, I was learning, I first was, sewing buttons on and things like that as a kid. And then, but, when you're doing it every day, you first learn how to sew. You sew the bodies first, you help prepare. And then you work your way up to collar, cuffs. There's many details in that. And then you work, you figure out what's possible and what's not through that. When you get to the cutting process, you can see it a lot more clearly. Things that can happen and what can't. The possibilities. And just knowing the capabilities of what can be sewn, simply.
Yeah. We were talking about the changes too. Your dad said there were profound changes in fabrics. This is the fabrics have never been better in terms of quality now compared to say the 70s and 80s. But there's also a change in how men dress, right? Young people, older people. Talk a little bit about.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, fabrics. Yeah. I mean. The books that we found, in recent years have been just amazing. And what's really nice is the seasonality of them now. They send us seasonal books and stuff like that, which has been really nice, especially at a time like this where things have morphed into so much more casual.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, when we get seasonal things, people... Like it's fall right now. People are switching to more of like a brush cotton type of thing, especially if they're not wearing a full suit or something like that. They feel a little bit more dressed up if they're wearing a shirt at least, and whether it's brush cotton or dress shirt.
Is there anything you want to say to the listener that comes to your mind about the importance of craft or making something with your hands, or the loss of that, or the importance of that?
Well,
or the rise of that, because there's many younger people doing what you're doing, I think, right? So more than in the past. But.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been a lost sense of what real quality of a shirt, or any garment really. It's gone so far as 100 years ago, like where my dad's from, everything was made for you, meaning you had a hat guy, you had a shoe guy. You had a suit guy and you had a shirt guy. That's just what he grew up in.
That's what he grew up in.
And he says he remembers when ready-to-wear clothing was first brought in Iran. And he said it was popular at first. People wanted that American brand name thing where he was and stuff like that.
Well, my theory that I told him, and I don't know if you'll agree with this or not, is that ready-to-wear was a kind of necessity or functional necessity owing to the large population size that you have a society.
Yeah, I don't even know if it was necessarily cheaper even at the time, or I mean, obviously it is now, but...
Well, what I mean is that if you have 1 billion people I'm just thinking off the top of my head, statistically, the more people we have in a society, there's more people to dress, and so maybe there's just an economic. The idea of
it probably went from people owning just a few, I'll say, shirts,
right,
to owning way more, probably.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah. I would say that generationally, though, that people have lost the sense of quality. So, like, say, like, it started there, a generation later, it's getting lost. People don't even think about what they're wearing as much, whereas before it used to be more of a process that they're involved in. Where you pick the fabric and the style and this and that. Whereas now you just go to the store and just grab what you think fits, or as long as you can throw it over your shoulders, you're kind of fine.
I'll be doing that now, of course, because I have this one fabric, this one shirt. And so you take the measurements, and that's how you do it from the bottom up.
We make the pattern, and once you sign off on it, there's not much to think about as far as fit.
I want to thank you for your time and generosity.
Sure.
And even good things have to come to an end. This is definitely a good thing. And welcome. Thanks for being here on Journey of an Aesthete podcast.
Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you.
I don't like goodbyes, so I'll see you soon, folks. Thank you.